Just because your ex has feelings and they connected to you in the course of the relationship, it doesn't mean that they're a fearful avoidant, not a dismissive avoidant. And nor does the fact that they chased you hardcore in the beginning of the relationship make them a fearful avoidant as opposed to a dismissive avoidant. Just because you're experiencing anxiety after the breakup, it doesn't make you an anxious, preoccupied attachment style. And just because your ex was very emotionally unreactive and they didn't like to fight, it doesn't make them secure. These are common misconceptions about attachment style that the general public has, and then we'll get on calls and, I'll break down everybody's attachment style, et cetera, et cetera. And then you'll go back and you kind of read some mainstream literature and second guess everything, and then all of a sudden, be totally confused about your attachment style and your ex's attachment style. Dismissive avoidants have feelings too, and they chase you really hard in the beginning of the relationship. The thing that characterizes dismissive avoidants more than anything else is that fear of commitment and fear of conflict, and they shut down and they run away in fights. The mainstream definition of a fearful avoidant is like, oh, somebody that has anxiety but is also avoidant. And that's why you think that your ex is a FA, because they actually let you have access to their feelings, but they basically disappeared on you and avoided conflict, and now all of a sudden they're out of there, and they didn't let you get too close at times. And you think they're a fearful avoidant because you actually connected to them. Well, no, probably a dismissive avoidant. Most people that have dismissive avoidant partners think that their ex is a fearful avoidant after reading some books and whatnot. Now, you probably think you're anxious, and literally 100% almost 100% of everybody that comes to me says that they are anxious, preoccupied. Well, yeah, you're going to have some anxiety after getting broken up with. Okay? That doesn't make you anxious. You mean to tell me that 100% of my audience is anxious, preoccupied? No, they're not. There's 4 different attachment styles. Probably 25% or less are actually anxious, okay? But the thing that most determines whether or not you're anxious is, do you roll over in conflict? Are you so scared of abandonment that you're just going to give the other person their way? And most of you are not that. You're fighters. You're more like fearful avoidant, or maybe more secure. You might have some abandonment wounds, but that's not your core wound if in conflict you don't roll over and give the other person their way. So no, you're probably not anxious, even though that you think that you are. Everybody experiences anxiety after breakup, even dismissive avoidance. Because remember, I get calls from dismissive avoidance when they've been broken up with, by a fearful avoidant typically. Maybe they cheated on them or something, a fearful avoidant put their walls up. And then that dismissive one is like, hey, how do I get this person back? I've never experienced this anxiety before. Everybody has anxiety after a breakup. Now, a lot of people think that their dismissive avoidant partners are secure, because they're very emotionally unreactive, they're very chill, and they don't really want to get into drama. So they think, oh yeah, this person's secure. Well, maybe they're not fighting like a fearful avoidant is, because they don't have the same trauma or abuse background. So they're not trying to keep themselves as safe. But dismissive, it is not secure to avoid problems. Secure behavior is to approach problems and talk them out to resolution. Okay? And that's not what dismissive avoidants do. They run away from it, or they shut down. Or sometimes they'll say, oh, yeah, we're good, and they'll fake fawn just to get you to drop the subject. So hopefully this clears up some misunderstandings about attachment style. If you want to know your ex's attachment style and yours and get a game plan for getting them back, click into my profile, click the link, set up a call, and I'll talk to you soon.